Hello again, everybody. Scott Casper. We continue the coverage of the sport of wrestling. This time we head to Providence, Rhode Island. We find Joe LeBlanc hard at work. Joe, we understand you may be moving west.
Yeah, Scott, I've decided to take my family and move back to Colorado, my home state, and join Troy Nickerson to build the Northern Bar program.
So your storied career has seen you as the last 8 months with Coach Todd Beckerman as the top assistant there at Brown. Prior to that, you were an assistant for a year at Indiana, starting to get a flavor of a variety of the conferences, the Big Ten and, of course, the Ivy. Now you head back west. Tell me about the conference you're going to.
Conference I know well. I competed in it my whole career. Western Wrestling Conference has some great teams. It'll be good to go back and have the opportunity to coach against my alma mater, Wyoming, and go head-to-head with Coach Branch. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of challenges, rebuilding the program, but a great opportunity to go back and Colorado has a great wrestling storied history. However, the All-Americans typically go out of state, and that's something that I've seen for a long time. And I'd like to keep those guys in state and winning all national titles and getting on the podium for the state that they grew up in.
Winning 147 victories yourself, I got to believe that teaching is going to be a part of your curriculum, coaching as an associate head coach, but you're also going to be looking at as being one of those top recruiters. If you can keep those kids in the state, the ones that do real well, I can imagine that you will be making yourself very, very popular, as it were, amongst the coaching ranks at Colorado.
Yeah, one of the biggest things is going in there and not only just scoring the top local prospects, because there are a handful of studs in the state, but also bring in the network that I've gained through my experience in the Big Ten and in the IWA out here. So I've been to 3 state tournaments since I left Wyoming. I went to Illinois, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So I guess all I'm missing is California if you're going to rank the top state tournaments in the country. And I'm going to bring those kids in as well. That's my goal, and it's definitely going to take some work, but I'm excited for the task, and I think working with Troy Nickerson, another 4-time All-American, national champion from Cornell, who has Ivy League experience, Big Ten experience from Iowa State, I think it's a perfect team to see for success.
He's a real ball of fire, I know that. You have a new athletic director out there as well. What kind of support is he voicing for wrestling? I know not all new athletic directors are 100% behind the sport, but let's hope that you have one.
Actually, I've been very impressed. New athletic director Darren Dunn just came in January. He watched his first wrestling match in March, and he told me that if he didn't get the right guy in there, it'd be easy to cut Northern Colorado's program that's saving $300,000. But he's committed to not only growing the sport, but getting the best guys in there, increasing salaries, increasing budget, making sure that we have everything we need to succeed. And I've been in a lot of close contact with him. He took his time, sought out Mike Moyer, Rob Cole's advice. He got to know the sport and took the necessary steps to make sure that wrestling is at Northern Colorado to stay.
Well, if he's listening to all those guys, obviously there's a lot of decision that was made with people who know, including Kevin Jackson, Rob Cole, Mike Moyer, Rich Bender. They all endorsed the hiring of Nickerson. Sorry, I was drawing a little bit of a blank. But then along comes the ability to hire you, and that's a pretty big get. How were you approached?
I actually was very content here in Providence, working with Coach Beckerman. I think we were building a great thing. We had an All-American our first year, Ophir Bernstein. I was preparing him for championships. He leaves next week. We beat Penn for the first time in 20 years. Things were going really well, so I didn't have a whole lot of interest except for the fact that I didn't want to see us lose another Division I program. And I'd like to see Colorado wrestling succeed. So I kind of sat back and just gave unsolicited advice to Darren Dunn. He called me up multiple times, gave him my advice. I said, if you get the right guy in place, I'm not in a situation right now. I just had my third son to be taking over a program, time commitment wise, and I just feel like I just kind of sat back and then, as he hired Troy reached out to me immediately after the job and said, he flew out here 2 days later and said, we got to make this happen, and believed in me that I was the right guy, and he met my requirements, and I think that it was an honor to have them approach me, and it's going to be a great situation. I'm very excited.
From one bear to another, from the brown bear to
Yeah.
the Bears of UNC. I think, first of all, you're keeping it within the Bear family.
Right.
But if I recall, Bears and Cowboys don't necessarily get along.
Yeah, they're actually kind of enemies if you think about it in the wilderness.
In the wilderness, right.
And out west, it's a little wild, so it'll be interesting. I'm excited to go back, and I got a lot of respect for a lot of the coaches in that conference, but I know the ins and outs of it, and I believe that we can win.
Did the kids, Amanda and the boys, did they back you up 100% on this decision?
Absolutely. That was a big driving factor for me. My third son, Levi, was born in February. Actually had a 16 days while I was preparing for EIWAs that he was in the ICU. So we had family flying across the country, and that kind of made us aware that it's nice to be around your support network and close to home. And she'll be 20 minutes from her family, so with my travel schedule and all of that's involved in college wrestling, it's going to be the best bet for our family to be home, and that was a big driving factor.
Who do you want to say thank you to? I know that there have been a lot of folks, including Todd, Coach Beckerman, who've not just believed in you, but been behind you 100%. Who would you like to thank?
Well, it starts off with my wife and my boys for supporting me in this career, because it's not an easy career to have a family. And she believes in my dream and my vision to be a head coach one day. And then it goes back starting with Coach Branch, and coming in and helping me achieve my goals there. And all of the coaching staff there, Schufelt, Ethan, Kyle, Pendleton, my teammates there, helping me to achieve my goals. Couldn't have done it without them. And then, Dwayne Goldman reached out to that college, giving me the opportunity to coach in the Big Ten. And, learned a lot coaching with him and Nick Simmons. We had 3 4-time All-Americans on staff there. Great situation. And he gave me the great recommendation to come coach under Todd. Learned a lot from Todd. Had a great experience here with him. A little bit unconventional because I came in November, and my, like I said, my son was in the hospital for a good chunk of time. So I've been around some great people, from Coach Branch's Oklahoma State background, direct lineage of John Smith, to Dwayne Goldman's direct, he was on 5 national title teams at Iowa for Gable. I think and they were both 4-time finalists. I think I've been honored and blessed to be around the best.
Yeah, you've learned a little bit, and then you performed well on the mat, the winningest wrestler in Wyoming history, and now you're bringing all that you've learned since back to the West, Colorado in specific, as you joined Troy Nickerson on the staff of the UNC Bears in Northern Colorado and Greeley. So good job out of you. Congratulations to you and your family. When do you actually make the move?
Well, I officially signed today, paperwork, and we'll be moving out within the next 2 weeks.
Wow. Well,
it's a quick transition, but
you best be making a stop in Des Moines, Iowa. How about that?
I'll definitely stop and see you on the way through.
All right, hey, appreciate it. Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, and you do great things for the sport, Scott, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Joe LeBlanc becomes the new associate coach at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley. He'll join Troy Nickerson there in just a few weeks. They'll get underway as far as recruiting and start amping up, if you will, in the state of Colorado and start challenging within the conference as well. We appreciate the opportunity to go one-on-one as always. Joe LeBlanc, thank you very much. Best to the family. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Scott.